Hello everybody and welcome back to RogueTech, where we have a bunch of repairs to do here, and that's going to take a little while. Also, looking through this, I don't think we have an engineering upgrade going on right now, so we should probably hop in here and get one going. I'm thinking we continue to work on our medical bay for now. It'll be expensive, but let's get that worked on, at least. Let's tick forward a few days here. Most of our mech warriors will be back now, but we do have a few injuries, and let's get a bunch of these mech repairs completed. The question is, are we going to have any of these anywhere even close to done before our financial report? And the answer is we're good to go except for the grasshopper and the trebuchet. Brick is going to be back at the same time as the financial report, but we could potentially do a deployment right now. We would not use the grasshopper or the trebuchet, but that's okay. We've got the rifleman, which the rifleman's going to need some reworking. The dual PPCs are probably not amazing, but for now, I think it'll be fine. We'll hop into the barracks and get some upgrades going here. Point of tactics for Capo. For Coach, we can get... what do we want here? What do you drive, Coach? Can we have a tooltip, please? Apparently not. There we go. Shadowhawk. Well, mostly you are a substitute. Okay, fair enough. For a substitute, I think we'll just go for tactician. Some very generic traits here. That'll be fine. For Gorgon, a point of gunnery. Absolutely great. For GV, nothing at all. For Hardcase, a point of gunnery. I love it. What else do we have?
Orders.
For Magus, a point of tactics. Yep, that'll do. For Panic, another point of gunnery. We're getting a lot of gunnery points here, and that is phenomenal. A point of gunnery for Plato. Romeo, nothing at all, but a point of guts for Weasel Cakes. Okay, sounds good. I think at this point, we're ready to deploy. Where are we going to deploy, is the question. Well... we probably want something that's going to make us a decent amount of money. There's a Lance tonnage maximum for this one. An assassinate mission here against planetary government. This is maybe an interesting option. I don't want to go to these tougher areas just yet. I feel like we're probably not ready for those. So given those options, there's like this urban battle here. A Comstar stronghold? Okay. A lot of fighting. Yeah, I think we're probably going to stick to this assassinate mission here. So we can run this probably straight down the middle. Yeah, that would be about right. This is not going to make us a huge amount of money, but it will cover this entire financial report, which is good. So that'll be okay. We can definitely run this, and then beyond that... Brick is not ready to go, but we can bring Coach in that spot as our substitute. And then we can also make sure, let's see, Gorgon would be driving... You previously drove the trebuchet, right? Yeah, so we'd put you in the crossbowman anyway, probably. You've got the bandit there. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Not amazing, but... sure, that'll do. We can reevaluate this once our grasshopper is good to go. I want to feel out how this rifleman works. I expect this to be a little underwhelming with the large laser PPC combo. I mean, if it hits, it'll do a decent amount of damage, but it's mostly going to be softening, right? I don't expect this to get a lot of cores. It's very much a fire support mech. So let's deploy this as it is. Darius thinks it will be difficult. He's probably wrong. And I will see you guys after the loading screen. Okay, so here we are all loaded up, and I hear helicopters. So let's hop on in and see how this ends up going.
Command interface
what do we got? Insurgent leader should be in the area. Yep, he'll be... oh, that's some very rough terrain. And he's, interestingly, driving a Marauder. Okay, sure. Well, we'll be able to deploy somewhere up here. We see supporting forces and reinforcements. The supporting forces are really, really close to us. Okay, that's actually probably not a bad thing. We can eliminate them very easily then. So we'll just deploy right here, which is the only place where we really can. And we'll see what we've got going on for these. Okay, that's a fire starter, a warrior, and a hawk moth. Is that all they have over here? Only a 3-unit lance?
I've got
Well, our centaur is going to make its way out over this direction to try to loop in behind this fire starter. I know the fire starter is facing away from us here, but I'm expecting it to move this way. So we'll just preemptively move the centaur.
If I were planning an ambush...
You don't say, Darius. You don't say. I'm well aware that there's an ambush here. So the fire starter is moving in over this way. Interesting. That's fine, though. That positioning is kind of ideal for us. So now they've got their hawk moth and their warrior. And both of those we should be able to shoot down very quickly. Light Gauss rifle that has a crit on it there. Okay. They're closing in very closely, though. So that's definitely noted. What is this? Oh, there's a ballistic self-propelled gun in here that I did not see. It is right on top of our unit there. Okay, gotcha. So we can just position our hoplite here for now.
Commander.
We might not be able to utilize the thumper artillery in this close quarters, but for the moment, that's
Standing
fine.
by.
The Apollo is going to want to start to back
there.
off over here. And we'll see what kind of distance we can get with our fire support units. The crossbow can't get too far back. We'll
that.
position about here. That fire starter is here, so we're going to want to move our centaur about here to take out the fire starter. The crossbows may be going to be a little bit in the way there. We'll see what ends up happening with that.
Standing by.
Now, the Wraith. I'd like to move the Wraith up over this way for the moment.
Rolling.
That self-propelled gun is going to need to go away, obviously. We should be able to do that fairly swiftly. I'm going to place the Shadowhawk about here in order to deal with that.
Ready for
And then the Black Knight can position somewhere up over here for the moment.
I'm your spaniel.
Okay. So
Standing
next up
by.
is the Rifleman, and the Rifleman is just going to step away
Moving
from
on.
that SPG. Okay. So first things first.
Talk to me.
Our Centaur is moving in here.
Copy that.
And we're going to eliminate this fire starter. We should one-shot this, I think.
Here we go.
Yep, there we go. One dead fire starter. Phenomenal. So next up is going to be what moving? That is going to be nothing over on this side. That's that Marauder. Okay. For the time being, I'm not too concerned about the Marauder. I want the Wraith. I'm thinking about this right now. 6 evasive and 8 evasive. Okay. I kind of want the Wraith to move into the rear arc of this warrior here
Acknowledge.
and fire on the warrior with the field inhibitor off. We'll see what we get done here.
Confirmed.
Decent rear arc damage on the warrior there. So next up is going to be that galleon. The hawk moth is going to move in this phase as well. I want the crossbow to step back to about here. I'm
Location
less
confirmed.
concerned about this warrior. I want that hawk moth shot down. So we're going to fire over this direction with our SAM missiles. It's not the greatest hit odds due to the 8 evasive here. Yeah, that's a lot of evasive.
Copy that.
But we'll see what we get done there. We actually shoot it down. Beautiful. So it doesn't get a chance to use its light Gauss, period. That is excellent. Another VTOL up over there, huh?
Commander.
Interesting. For now, the Rifleman could absolutely move into the rear arc of this Ballista SPG. Turn off our field inhibitors on the PPC. And just kick the rear arc here, and this is a very good chance of destroying it before it gets to utilize its machine guns or its sniper artillery. That could be devastating on our Centaur. So let's see if we can get rid of that before it gets a chance to do anything. It's a solid melee attack. We did miss one of those PPCs. Okay, that rear armor is very weakened. There's only 34 HP in that rear arc. The Shadowhawk can very likely kill it from there. So next up is this warrior, and the warrior, we'll see what it ends up doing. The only response to that is, oh no, anyway. So the Apollo at this point is wanting to step back here, positioning about here, and going for this warrior. Now this is front arc. Are we better off firing on something out over here, like this Dragoon? Definitely not the Ballista. I think we'll fire on the warrior.
This should be good.
And hit very little there, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that warrior for the moment. The big concern right now is I want that Ballista gun. Was that a Jenner? That's a Jenner, okay.
Confirmed.
So at this point, the hoplite is probably going to want to position somewhere out over this way, or just stay put, since we did brace last turn. And we can start lobbing an artillery out over this way. What if we were to fire here? Are we in range to fire flak? Actually, we are. 33% hit chance on that Dragoon out there. Let's take that.
Here we go.
We didn't hit, but I think it was worth a choice, or worth a shot there. Worth a shot. So at this point, the Shadowhawk needs to get into rear arc of this Ballista. I do not want this Ballista to continue to exist. There we go. So that SPG never gets a chance to fire. That's excellent. Next up, we need to eliminate this helicopter. So we've eliminated this entire force extraordinarily quickly, right? At this point, the Black Knight wants to move into rear arc of this warrior and just finish it off. And there we go. It's gone. Beautiful. So now there should be, I believe, 5 total enemies remaining, and we know that one of them's a helicopter, and one of them's a Jenner, and one of them's a Marauder. We don't know anything about the other stuff. It's a missile unit of some type. Okay, not too concerning. I think that we send the Centaur out after the... Well, we can't really get to the Marauder that easily. We could go down, like, over here, and then go up over here. Yeah. Oh, we're just going to close in and see what we can get from sensors here. So we immediately see that Marauder up over there. We see a Jenner. We see a Hunchback 4JB. Okay. And then we see a Dragoon attack VTOL over here. So for now, that's all fine. I'm not going to fire with the Centaur. And there's that Galleon out over there too. Right. Okay. So. Couple of PPCs hitting our Apollo there. For the time being, that's fine. We're going to start putting, I think, a Withering Fire on that Marauder with our fire support here. So the Apollo is... I kind of don't want to sit on this ridgeline. The Apollo's going to dip down over here so that it's not taking fire from over here. And we're going to fire on that Marauder. Ooh, these are good hit odds, even with the PPC ECM jamming. Nice. I like it. So we're going to start softening up this Marauder. That was a pretty good amount of softening, really. Considering the range, we'll take it. So that Dragoon attack VTOL is moving up, and the question is, who are we going to send after that Dragoon? I think we're probably just going to take targets of opportunity there. Or maybe just send the Wraith after it. So that would end up meaning that this guy would come up, like... Thinking about what paths we'd take here. There aren't that many good paths through here. I guess we'd position here for now, and we could potshot that Marauder with our field inhibitor on. 46% chance hit odds there. Yeah, we missed, but I don't feel like we lose anything for that. So that's okay. I mean, we lose like a coolant cycle, but whatever. So the rest of these are ways out there, right? That Jenner is going to just kind of run around over here. These guys are stacked together right now. That might be a good target for our artillery. The Shadowhawk, of course, is going to start heading up this direction.
Full speed.
We didn't unjam that machine gun, sadly. The crossbow, I think, really should probably just turn here and otherwise continue to shoot at that Marauder. This is less good hit odds than we had previously. Of course, we want to be in ER LRM mode. What do we got going on here? That's just max range. Okay.
All right, let's see.
We'll continue to soften up that Marauder with our missiles for now. And then here in phase 12, that's going to be that Hunchback. So the Hunchback spreads out a little bit from where we were planning to fire with our Hoplite. That's okay for the moment. We'll see what we decide to go for there.
Yes, boss.
The Rifleman at this point can step forward, and the Rifleman can shoot at this Dragoon, and I'm okay with that. We turn our field inhibitors back on to give ourselves slightly higher hit odds. They're not great in terms of the hit odds, but we'll sink most of our heat.
Firing on target.
Yeah, we don't hit, but we don't expect to. So that's absolutely fine. So our Black Knight can absolutely push forward here as well. Heading up to... I don't love sitting in this spore field, but sure, I guess it'll do.
Skipper.
And then our Hoplite. Where do we want our Hoplite to shoot? I'm still kind of thinking the Hunchback here. So we'd switch the Thumper Artillery into artillery mode.
Copy that.
And that's a pretty decent hit on that Hunchback, actually. Do we get a knockdown? We don't. Okay, fantastic. So our Centaur, at this point, I really think should be heading out over this direction.
Affirmative.
Just thinking... If these hit odds were a little higher, I think I'd roll this. As it is, I think I'm not going to. Because we'd pretty easily shoot this down, but we're pretty constrained on our number of missiles in our Centaur. So I think for the moment, that's not the best option. So the Dragoon moves up and is firing on our Black Knight with a large laser. That's fine. Our Black Knight will be delighted to return that fire. Next up is going to be our crossbow. And I'm going to step the crossbow a little forward here. And we'll continue to fire on that Marauder.
Engaging.
We need to keep softening him up and giving him something to think about. He's got long-range fire and can try to pick us off in our flank a bit. And that's what he wants to do here. Okay. He hit one PPC into our Apollo there. The Apollo is actually reasonably fine with that. So that's okay. The Wraith at this point is going to move up to here and continue to shoot at this Dragoon. Hit odds aren't the best, but we'll see what we've got. Okay, we softened its armor up a little bit. That's fine. And of course, next up is our Shadowhawk. And the Shadowhawk can follow that up. We can position here and continue to shoot at this. Unfortunately, this machine gun is still jammed, but machine guns aren't great in this scenario anyway. We can actually turn this one down to X3. Yeah, we don't get a lot out of that, but I also don't expect much out of that. So that's okay. Next up is going to be the Galleon and the Hunchback. But we can move as well in this time. So our Hoplite can continue to shoot at that Hunchback if we so desire. And I do so desire.
Firing.
Another solid artillery hit there. I like it. And no knockdown. Okay. So, this guy's doing pretty good. The Hunchback stacks in here, interestingly. They're really trying to focus in on the Apollo, and that's almost certainly because the Apollo's a 55-tonner and has relatively low armor count, 1140. It's not that low of armor count, though, to be honest. So we're going to continue to dip down over this way towards this cover and fire on this Marauder. The Marauder's armor is getting very weak. It can't take this for too much longer. This armor is getting absolutely peppered by our fire support here. Yeah, it really can't handle that for too much longer. Our Rifleman can position up over here and can continue to pump PPC shots at this Dragoon. We'll also... I don't think we'll fire the large lasers here. I don't think it's worth the heat. Ooh, we hit one of those PPCs anyway. So this Dragoon has very low armor in this area, specifically, and not really anywhere else. That Jenner moved forward a little bit.
I await your command.
Our Black Knight is going to position... I honestly want it in cover here. This is more exposed and not in cover. So we'll just fire on this Dragoon. I don't necessarily expect a lot out of this, but if we do hit, we can shoot it down. But we didn't. Okay. So for now, that's reasonably fine. Our Centaur is going to continue to press forward here. And the question is, are we going to attempt to attack out over here? I think positioning it about here makes some amount of sense. We can go for the Galleon or the Hunchback. The Hunchback has been a bit softened up on this front side, but not a ton, to be honest. So maybe we go for the Galleon here. Hit odds aren't phenomenal on that. Ooh, I wish we were turned to shoot at that Jenner. Unfortunately, we're not. I didn't realize the hit odds were going to be that good. Well, let's just potshot the front arc of this Hunchback for now.
Triggering an alpha strike.
And we'll work on softening up that Hunchy a little bit. For the moment, that'll be fine. Okay, next up is going to be our Apollo. And the Apollo can now dip into this cover.
Location confirmed.
And we can continue to shoot at that Marauder. Gauss rifle crits, engine crit. This Marauder's really close to dead. Okay, so the crossbow can close in a little bit, sticking to cover. The crossbow has a very good chance of killing the Marauder here.
Firing on target.
Engine crit, Gauss rifle, or Gauss ammo destruction. Is that all of its Gauss ammo? No. But it did get a couple of Gauss crits. It still managed to fire. It only hit one of those PPCs, though. So that's all good for now, and it's firing on the crossbow now instead of the Apollo. This guy's not going to survive much longer. Our missile units have pretty much single-handedly defeated it. Interesting. That Galleon did not do as much damage to the Centaur as I expected there. The Hoplite gets to move now, and this is a fantastic time for the Hoplite to attack. Hit that Hunchback. And also hit that Jenner. I love it. That's great. The Hunchback is unsteady, but it gets to move right now. So that's okay. The Jenner didn't take a lot of damage from that, but the Hunchy is not feeling good. He goes for the Centaur. Doesn't get a whole lot done there.
You need more practice.
Managed to hit a medium laser and a couple of missiles, but really not a concern. Next up is going to be that Jenner, and the Jenner tries to run away a bit. Understood. Then is the Dragoon, and we'll see what the Dragoon does here. As we get closed in on it, it isn't going to survive for much longer, so this will be fine. Okay. It goes for the Wraith side arc. The Wraith's armor is plenty strong to hold that off. No concern there.
Yes.
So next up, our Wraith should probably... What side is this? This is the right side? So it would be out on this side. We don't have a side arc on that, but we can position the Wraith here, turn the field inhibitor off, and see what we get. That was all armor hits there, sadly. Nothing internal. Okay. The Shadowhawk can do basically the same thing, but I don't want to do it from this angle. From, like, here. Okay. And do fire the machine guns. Structure exposure, but the Dragoon is not shot down yet. This thing is proving very difficult to hit. No doubt about that. Next up would be our Rifleman, which can just step forward and continue to pump PPCs at it. And there we go. That's shot down. Phenomenal. Next up would be the Black Knight, which can position somewhere up over here. We could fire at the Hunchback. We could fire at the Marauder. Both of those are about the same. So I think we'll fire at the Hunchback here. Okay, 30 damage into it. I like it. That'll do. And next up, of course,
got
is
your
our
back.
Centaur, which hasn't gotten a lot done yet, to be honest. We can, however, position the Centaur here,
Clear the way. I'm
which would
coming in
allow us
fast.
to rear arc attack this Jenner with actually quasi-decent hit odds here. Let's do it. Some internal damage there.
That was a critical hit, lad.
Unfortunately, we didn't do any significant damage. We took out a couple of heat sinks, but that's it. I was hoping to get a little bit more thorough damage done on that Jenner, but it's just going to keep running away. For the time being, that's okay. Let's move our Wraith up and continue to toss some damage over at this Hunchy. We actually hit this. You can always tell when you have that camera zoom effect that you're going to hit. And that was some internal damage there. The Marauder missing everything. It's still got to fire its crit Gauss rifle, which is sad, but it's not long for this world. That's for sure. We're going to move up with our Shadowhawk, and I think we can lob a couple of MRMs at this Hunchy. Maybe we get something in here. Actually, it's super weak on his armor overall. Small peppering of armor removed from the Hunchy there. And our crossbow is going to continue to close in over here. This is very likely a kill on this Marauder.
Locked on target.
And there we go. -1 Marauder. Fantastic.
Down.
Okay, next up is this Rifleman wanting to close in on something. It's a little out of range, so we'll just move it forward a bit. Terrain here is very rough, and we struggle a bit in rough terrain. There's no doubt about that. Our evac zone's over here. Okay. That Galleon does need to go. Where did it actually position at? That's something that we need to ask. Let's see here. Oh, it's over here. Gotcha. Our mediums can go after that. So that's fine. The Apollo at this point is probably going to want to try to close in up over here a bit.
Copy that.
We can look at hit odds. 12.9, 15.1, 3.3. Hunchy it is. I don't expect too much out of this, but we could
Copy
theoretically get something good out of it. We did get some internal damage there, but nothing significant. The Hunchy moves now. It's very sad about our Centaur. And we're not shocked about that one.
Confirmed.
So at this point, the hoplite pretty much has to fire on the Jenner. We don't really have an option here.
Engaging target.
So we'll fire on the Jenner and see what we get. Absolutely nothing. Do we get a knockdown? No. Okay, we've had good luck on that.
Live to
So
serve.
the Black Knight is going to step forward here and continue to hit this Hunchy. This could easily kill it. This is on his weak side. And depending on what's in that torso, it could. Or we could get a leg damage there. I guess that works. Okay, next up, our Centaur is ideally... And we got side arc on this Jenner. I would really prefer to get rear arc there, but side arc will do. This is already softened. I'm hoping to leg it. SRM ammo explosion into one dead Jenner. That
Bottleneck
works.
down.
That was better than anticipated. Okay.
I'm
So
here.
next up, our Apollo can head up over here. Now, if this is indicating anything to me, it is that we are performing quite well in this 3-skull paradigm. We might want to consider 4.
Affirmative.
5 is probably a little much. That's a couple of heatsink destructions on the
Reporting
Hunchy.
critical hit.
Not bad. And we'll see what it decides to do. Next up is going to be the Galleon. And... okay. That position might be a little hard for us to hit. Just because of the way that the terrain slopes away over here. We'll see. The Hunchback backs off, fires on our Black Knight. Our Black Knight does not care. This is absolutely fine.
I'm receiving
Okay, so next up would be our Wraith. Now, its PPC is currently jammed, so it's pretty much going to have to sprint
Wraith,
forward
yeah.
and sink heat and unjam the PPC. The Shadowhawk here, it could fire on that Hunchback, and I think we absolutely do
On my
that.
way.
We just
Double
position here, and we lob some MRMs here. This could destroy the Hunchback, theoretically. Foot destruction, LRM 20 crit, lower leg destruction, upper leg destruction, but not a full-on leg destruction. Okay. The Black Knight will step forward
Onward.
and lob a couple large lasers.
Acknowledge.
More internal damage there. LRM 20 crit, and I believe the Hunchback is unsteady. Ooh, not quite. Okay, it's not quite unsteady. Well, we can definitely move up with our crossbow. This is going to be indirect fire either way. What are we better off on? Absolutely the Hunchy. Okay. That definitely makes him unsteady, so that'll make him a lot easier to hit. The hoplite at this point, I would like to continue to fire the artillery at the Hunchy.
Let's see what you got.
That's a torso destruction.
Reporting. Critical hit.
So this Hunchy is not happy with his day. There's no doubt about that. At this point, this rifleman really doesn't have LOS on anything at all, so it's just going to continue to advance a little bit here. But now,
I've got your back.
our Centaur can loop around into the rear arc of this Hunchback and really ruin
Ready to
his
run.
day. Like, this guy thought it was going poorly before. This is just mean. Like, we're better off hitting the front arc, but I'm still doing this. Because it's funny. There we go. One very dead Hunchback.
One less hostile on the
Next up is the Galleon, and that is the only
LRMs
remaining
are
target.
out.
So at this point, the Apollo can position itself like over here, and we're just looking at softening up this Galleon a little bit. We haven't hit it at all up until this point.
Commander.
So the Wraith wants to try to get some LOS here, but there's absolutely no way.
Affirmative.
We're just going to continue closing in on this
Waiting
Galleon
for
as best we can,
Confirmed.
and softening up its armor here and there with some indirect missile and artillery fire. It's unlikely that we
I'm
get
out of
too much
long-range
out of this, though, until we get closed in. So, actually, the Shadowhawk does get closed in here. Do we get a rear arc? No. We can position out over here, though, and this does mean no artillery shots. But this thing... Okay, fair enough. That's just a lot of things there. No sensor roll failure there, but a lot of various malices.
Standing
So the
by.
rifleman here needs to close in,
Double time.
and we're getting very, very close to eliminating this Galleon. Come on, Galleon. What are you gonna do? You've got 2 machine guns and some sort of a laser. Oh, wow, I didn't realize you were that low on your armor over there. Almost all of our damage is hit right there. Sounds good. I'll be honest, I expected to take a head hit there. It didn't happen, so that's absolutely great.
Moving
We
to
can
position.
continue to hit this Galleon in its, I believe this is its weakened side, and this could very easily destroy it. And it does. Phenomenal. So yeah, that
That's a kill.
was pretty straightforward. No doubt about it. I think that we should be pretty confident in moving to 3.5 or 4 scope.
Mission successful.
I'm a little bit leery of moving to 5+ at this point. I think that's not necessarily the best idea. Not necessarily because of our mechs. Our mechs are improving a lot, but more because our mech warriors aren't really up to the training standards of getting up that high. We're going to have some pretty big initiative issues and potentially some pretty big to-hit malices. So that's going to be pretty painful at that point. So I think that we definitely need to continue to train our mech warriors and sit at around this-ish level, maybe a little harder. That's fine. Honestly, we only have 2 priority salvage. They can have the Hunchback and the Jenner. That's fine. I wouldn't mind that SPG. What do we got in here? We've got a sniper artillery. I mean, sniper artilleries are great. I think we already have one. The tooltip is too long, and I can't actually read if we already have one. I'm pretty sure we do. And there's no sniper artillery ammo in here. I'm going to grab the sniper artillery. I'd love to get that Marauder, but I'm going to grab the sniper artillery. I'm going to grab a ballista SPG. Okay, we do get a Marauder part out of that. Medium laser, couple of armor pieces, a comm suite, not bad. Couple of double heat sinks, omnipod lower arm. Sure, that all looks pretty decent. Pretty decent indeed. Now, we took a little bit of damage, but it wasn't super significant, to be honest. That wasn't so bad. We were able to eliminate that first unit before any of the others were really able to be effective. The Marauder was able to shoot basically right away, but it didn't matter. That's completely irrelevant to us, to be honest. So that's all great. I'd love to have that Marauder, and if we had been able to get the Marauder, what would I have done with it? I probably would have replaced the Hoplite with the Marauder. That likely would have been the goal. Okay, what do you got, Yang? How much is this going to be? This shouldn't be much. Like 50k? Yeah, 54k. I like it. Not bad. Go ahead and do that, and it is past time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that as well. And next episode, we'll take this financial report and see about making some additional money. Our money's going to be a little on the low side here, and I would definitely like to build up a little bit more of a nest egg. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12 UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.